We've talked a lot about NBA with some calls. Also, the last 2 minutes in the NBA's attempt at transparency there. Steve Javie has lived it all, NBA official, now working for the ESPN crew and their rules official. He joins us now from the Replay Center. And, Steve, let me start with the last 2 minutes with the transparency. What is the NBA trying to do, and are they accomplishing what they're trying to do?
That's too good. The second question is really good. What they're trying to do, like you said, Dan, is transparency, admitting calls when officials miss them. I think they're also trying to show how officials are pretty good at their job, because they normally don't talk about the L2Ms, the last 2-minute report, unless there's a few mistakes in there, like there have been in the last game or so. But for the majority of it, I think if you look during the season, Dan, they do a pretty good job. Now, are they accomplishing what they wanted to? I think maybe what they wanted to is have the team look at the last 2 minutes report and then be satisfied with it. But I don't think any team's ever going to be satisfied, even if you do admit a call that you missed at the end of the game. I mean, I've missed my share of calls at the end of the game, and they're going to be pissed off at you no matter what, whether they read about it, whether you admit it or don't admit it.
How often would you apologize to a player or a coach when you missed a call?
Here's the weird thing, Dan, because it's funny how announcers sometimes will sit there and go, well, he should give him more rope because he knows he missed that call. A lot of times when you're on the floor and you make the call, I would like to say the majority of times when you blow the whistle, you should be pretty sure that you're right. The only time I would apologize is if I went back maybe to the locker room at halftime, viewed a couple plays. If I was wrong, I'd go up to him and say, hey, Dan, that play you talked about, yeah, I kicked it, no doubt. But as you can see, the credibility of players can be called into question at all times. Even now with this challenge where every player, even though they get the guy across the head with a foul, they're telling the guy, hey, let's go challenge it. And I think the coaches are realizing that the credibility of a lot of these players is like, look, I'll challenge when I want to challenge and so on. But I mean, then again, to answer your question in another way, if I blew the whistle and I didn't like it, I'd go up to the coach and say, Coach, you know what? I didn't like that whistle. But if you do that, I had one coach, Jack Ramsey. I admitted that I missed the call one time. And God bless him. Jack Ramsey was one of the greatest. The Philly guy, like I am too, knew my dad and everything. And I say, Coach, I think I missed that one. He goes, Steve, you're not paid to miss call. Okay, it's the last time I tell him that one,
But if we're doing total transparency, why don't we do the entire game?
Boy, because you know why, Dan? You have to hire so many more people. It takes so long to do every bounce. Because here's the weird thing. With this last 2-minute report, if you're going to, then if you say do the whole game, let's do every bounce of the ball too. Because when a guy's dribbling up the court and he doesn't travel, is that like a correct no call? Like he didn't travel? So you would have to do every second of every game, and it just would not be feasible,
Okay, here's another thing. Why don't we call carrying in the NBA? When did we start to allow it to just be part of a regular basketball play?
Yeah, I think it's like anything else, and things or plays that you don't call or rules that you don't enforce, they evolve to, like, if you probably looked at it 20 years ago as compared to now, 20 years ago, people thought they carried the ball. And then now even more so. And I even see it when I'm in the studio where it's the hesitation that gets me more than anything else. The side of the ball doesn't bother me that much. But it's that hesitation where the guy does put his hand under the ball. And that's what a carry is, coming to a pause or a stop in the dribble. And I think it's evolved into where they always have it over the point of emphasis, but I think they're going to have to emphasize it just a little bit more because the defender has no shot.
I know. And we see it now. It's just commonplace. It's not just the pros. It's college. It's high school. We're talking to Steve Javie, ESPN NBA officiating analyst. Okay, let me look at what happened with Jamal Murray. In your opinion, if you were refereeing that game, you would have done what to Jamal Murray?
Yeah, there's two scenarios. One scenario is this heat packet thrown on the floor, and I don't know where it came from, or I don't know who threw it. That scenario, I stop the game, and I look at the bench. And, of course, there's not a person who has any guts on the bench that's going to say, I did it, all right? So there, what I would do, obviously it wasn't a heat pack giveaway day, so it would have to come from team personnel because I don't think many fans carry that with them. So I would have assessed the technical foul on the team. I mean, this is a dangerous situation, Dan, in my opinion, because and now Jamal Murray, who does end up throwing that and throws the towel also, but he's been through his injury, and I can't imagine if that was thrown out on the floor when he was playing. Let's say somebody threw it and he stepped on it and turned his ankle or wrenched his knee or slipped. I mean, this could be a potential, not just a game, but the series-ending play for any kind of player.
But couldn't you have reviewed that, Steve? Couldn't you have gone over and said, all right, who threw it? Nobody's going to tell you on the bench. You could go over and say, all right, I want to review and see if we have that. Would you be allowed to review that? And if you knew Jamal Murray threw it, would you have tossed him?
I would have absolutely tossed him. I would have called a technical foul and absolutely tossed him because there's first of all, he's throwing it at me, the referee, and secondly, he's causing, harm to the players on the floor. It'd be the same way, Dan, if I saw a fan throw something on the floor, they'd be ejected from the building. So yes, I would have ejected him from the game.
Well, and then you had Michael Malone come on the floor. He ran on the floor. You can't allow that.
Apparently, he called a timeout. Okay, so it was during the course of coaches, they call a timeout and come onto the floor
at the same time.
At the same time, but I agree his aggressiveness, calling the timeout and getting into the face of the official. That each official's different, Dan. I can't tell official what he should do. But I know if somebody approached me in that manner, I would definitely have called a technical foul.
You refereed Michael Jordan's last game?
The last regular season game. Yep.
What do you remember about it?
I remember the fans just calling for him to come back into. They took him out of the game, calling for him to come back into the game. It was really cool. It's towards the end of the game too, Dan. When the last minute of play, a foul. Jordan goes up for a shot. He gets fouled, and I'm going to administer the ball. Now the fans know it's like getting to the end. And so they just have a standing ovation. I hold the ball. I don't give them the ball. I just want them to take in the standing ovation, deservedly so. And I remember turning to each player and I said, he should be your role model for how you play and how you should act on the floor. And it wouldn't be bad if everybody did that. And I told the players that during the line, the ones who were lined up in the free throw lane. So I waited, what I seemed to be a decent amount of time for him to take in the ovation. And I just, threw the ball to him and let him shoot.
Did he really get fouled on the play, Steve?
I think the coach challenged the play. I got to go to the
challenge. There's no 2-minute report on that, Steve, about Jordan supposedly getting fouled on the play.
Exactly right. That's way back. That's no way.
I hope you're having fun in TV, and thanks for joining us. Great to talk to you again.
Dan, thanks so much for having me. I'm available anytime you need me, brother.
That's Steve Javie, ESPN NBA officiating analyst and former NBA referee.